I'll make you famous.
Because I'm a cowboy! Oh, man!
And now, your mama knows.
29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What are you, fucking nuts? You thought...
Subscribe to the most epic channel on YouTube for live streams every week, daily videos. Subscribe. Bruce, unleash the baby god dragon.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another stream. It's the Cowboy King of Entertainment, aka Anthony L. Lewis in real life. And guys, part of being the king of content, the king of entertainment, is having a bunch of different content. So, to paint the picture for you guys, my good friend, all right. He is one of my favorite people. Big Mike, the guy who created One Mike Media. Now, I say that to say this. I love this guy so much, and it's crazy that we always get into our debates and smack talking, and it's just great. So he really feels like he's my brother. Like it's that literal camaraderie that we have, just the back and forth. And I mean, we could go on and on about wrestling. We could go on and on about movies. Like, we have a lot of stuff in common, but we're very opinionated. And, it's a lot of fun. So I seen the movie Sinners just the other day, right? Finally. And so as I watched it, so by the way, it's a spoiler discussion. You guys know me for doing spoiler-free reviews. Well, when we do a spoiler discussion, we're talking about everything. All right. So, so be warned after this that it will be spoiled. So, I was saying how the movie was pretty good, and I just didn't get some of the other stuff. Not that I didn't get it. I get it. I just felt it was kind of stupid. You know, I feel like the movie was going really good, and then they throw some stuff we'll get into, and I was like, that's kind of stupid. And it reminded me of Spider-Man 3. You know, Tobey Maguire walking down the street, snapping his finger. I'm like, yo, what type of movie am I watching? Is this a comic book movie? Is this like, what is going on here? So I felt the same way with this. I'm like, are we in a musical? So I was talking to Mike about it, and he was like, nah, it was good. You got to understand. I was like, I get it. I get everything they were saying. I just feel like, man, that was poor placement. Like, for me, that would have been cool to be on a DVD or the extended scenes or something, you know. But I feel like there's times where people, directors make movies and they add certain scenes. You kind of wonder, why did you add that, right? Especially when primarily the whole movie is different. And then there's movies like I had my wife watch the other day, Chronicles, right? That movie was great. And we watched that, and we watched. Then I looked at the extended version, and I was like, man, they have some scenes that I just don't understand why they didn't put that scenes in the movie. So anyway, Big Mike and I, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to get into it. It's going to be epic. Anything Mike and I do is epic. And I got to give a shout out to my guy, Mr. Josh Waring. We're all in one chat that he created called Mental Theater. And me and Mike, we're going on for like 2 days. And he's like, what I don't understand is why you guys aren't doing this live. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And I'm like, well, it's too late now. He's like, it's never too late. And I'm like, all right, bet, Mike, let's do a spoiler discussion. So Mike did use the word debate, and so I guess we will debate it a little bit, but mainly we're gonna bring up the whole movie. I mean, the thing is, it's just opinion. So you can't really debate the opinions that much because it's your opinion, right? I can't make him change his opinion. You can't make me change my opinion, but it is a good discussion. So anyway, do a couple of these curls real quick. All right. And if you're new to the channel, I do gaming, vlogging, podcast, movie reviews, product reviews. I've been vlogging my life since 2011, every birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, even my honeymoon in Mexico, swimming with sharks. And 10 years later is our anniversary, and we were swimming with dolphins. So how crazy is that? But yeah, so guys, every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. is like my main podcast I do. And then every Wednesday I do my wrestling league called We Wrestle Wednesday. So, and then I just put out random stuff. Like tomorrow also, I'll be doing my first impression videos for Mind's Eye. So a lot of people said they didn't like the game and it was buggy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to put it to the test. So with that being said, I'm going to grab a chair. Hope you guys grab a chair. And let me get to the comments. And then I will bring in my guests. And we will get this show on the road. So, let me see. We got Dodgeman in the building. He said, love Sinners. You know what, Dodgeman? I don't know why the movie came out a while ago, so I am late to the party. I watched it on HBO Max, but I don't remember if you said you've seen it or not. I know FCAT's seen it because he was going on and on about it. Everyone smash the like button. On the way in, yo, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Don't hate on Dusk Till Dawn reboot, the musical. I mean, that's what people kept saying. That's what it felt like. Also, sub the One Mic Media. Let me see. All gas, no brakes with it. So, yeah, definitely, guys. I put a poll up as well, and so I want to explain the poll so you guys can understand what I was saying. But give me a moment because there is something I have to do. Let's see. All right. So my guy, Mike, I want you guys to check his channel out. He's definitely a great content creator. I mean, the moment I met him, I just was like, man, you have this like amazing voice for broadcast or anything. He actually said he went to school for that. But, and allegedly he was classically trained in singing, but he's a really good friend of mine. And, but we're going to get into it. Trust me, don't do the whole, oh, y'all guys are buddies. We're buddies, and that's why we go all in. So just so you know, I'm going to slap him around a little bit. But, guys, check out his channel. I'm telling you, great content. We did so many reviews together. We're actually supposed to be doing Old Guard Part 2, because we reviewed that before, and we want to do that together as well. We used to have a channel together, but so here is his channel right here. Just wanted to put that in the link, so as whoever's watching it back, when you hear me say here's his channel, you can check it out. Also, I'll link his channel as well in the description. But let me go to the poll real quick. Curious if any of you guys voted on a poll, and I'll explain it if you kind of don't get the poll. So the poll, you know what's funny? Is the poll even a live poll, or is it not live? Oh yeah, there it is. All right, cool. So, do you judge a movie based on the movie or the director? So, what I was referring to was, so Mike and I was getting into this conversation, and what he was saying, and also my friend Franco, they both was alluding to, like, you know, the director, this is his style, right? And like, I know, like, M. Night Shyamalan, like, he has just the weird movies, right? So you go into his movies, you're like, look, just know it's going to be a little weird and kind of whatever, interesting, right? So I think that is a part of, you know, cinema, knowing what you're getting yourself into. But I also think there's the other side where you're just an avid movie watcher. You just see a trailer. You don't know who made it, who the composer is. You're like, dude, it looks cool. I want to go see the movie. So for me, I'm more that person that just goes to the movies. I literally didn't know who Ryan, whatever his name is. I didn't know the director of the movie, right? I've heard his name a bunch of times. Didn't really click on what movies it was to. I just don't really like to connect that, right? Like, I probably know Michael Bay. I know Steven Spielberg. I know, Stephen King. Some of those names been thrown around for years, right? So, but I don't really connect it like that. I'm more into show me a trailer or have a friend of mine. This is how I feel with video games. Show me a trailer or have a friend of mine say, you got to watch that movie. You got to play that game, and I'll give it my time of day. Now, when I go to the movies and I sit down and I seen the trailer, and the trailer make me feel, okay, this is the type of movie I'm going to see. And then when they just throw some left curve, now if it's like creative and maybe it's like, okay, this is weird to have this in this movie, but it works. Like, if you guys ever seen Brotherhood of the Wolf, it's a very strange movie. It's a French movie. But it, out of any movie I've ever seen, it has the most amount of genres in a movie. Like, it's a horror movie, but the action is so intense. It's an action movie. But then the drama is crazy. It's a drama movie. Like, it also is a love story. Like, it's like a mash of different genres, but each genre equally gets their, their due. Whereas, and we're gonna get in Sinners, I just felt like there's two scenes that I was like, my wife and I, we both was watching like, what the? Now, granted, the movie's still a good movie. Like, people was right, it is a good movie. But I have to admit, those two scenes was like, bro, I don't even know why these scenes was in the movie. I understand them, but it just was like, this is watering down the movie. This movie was going to be like grade A. Like, this was a good movie, even though it took 42 minutes for them to throw in the vampires. But it still was a good movie. And then they throw in that, and I'm just like, why would you do that? Like, I get it. Some directors want to have like a artsy type movie. There's a couple movies I thought was dumb. Like that one movie about the I think it was called Norseman, right? It was a dude in it from Twilight. No, not Twilight. Sorry, from True Blood. He played as Eric Norseman, and in True Blood, right? So in the movie, it was like random scenes in the background, the lightning striking, they just pan off to the clouds. I'm like, what is this? So I remember another movie that did that. The one Halloween, the Michael Myers movie, where Michael is in the club and he keeps seeing his mom on a white horse in the club. I'm like, what is this? Like, it's certain movies that do stuff like that, and I'm just like, for me, it's distasteful. But again, if you know the director, you might give him a pass. You might be like, this is his thing. He kind of does this, or she kind of does this. And so for you, maybe you give him a pass. But anyway, so do you judge a movie based on the movie or the director? 83% says the movie, and 17% says the director. So let's get into this. We'll keep paying attention to the poll. And let me get to, let me see. FCAT said, throw the link. I'll throw the link, and anybody could join if you want. But I do want to kind of have Mike come on first, and we kind of chop it up a little bit. It's very different going to be a bar owned by vampires and different than vampires showing up to the club. Right? Yeah, there you go. No, it's not Gooner. It's Ryan Coogler, right? Josh said, wow. FCAT said, it's way more than just that. LOL. And then Maker said, oh yeah, you are right. It's definitely even more different than Dusk Till Dawn. And then Tropic Thunder had every genre. Stop talking and throw the link. All right. So bringing in my guest, none other than my man, Big Mike of Big Mike, One Mike Media. I'm sorry, Mike. Yo. Mike, my God.
Yo, can you hear me? Am I good? So make sure.
You sound great, brother.
All right. How's everybody doing out there? I appreciate you giving me the intro and giving our background. You know what I mean? Good to see you as always at the gym.
Man.
I don't even know where to start, man. Do you want to I don't know how you want to host this thing, or I just don't know where to start, man.
Hey, bro, listen. One of my favorite hosts, one of the best hosts I ever met in my life is you, man. Like,
right.
I always got to give you your flowers, man. You are a host. Like I love the host, but we have definitely different styles. But Mike, your voice, when you come on, you command the room. So yeah, man, let's jump in this thing. So the background.
Well, let me just get back on what you were talking about a few minutes earlier. The first thing is, let me go back a little bit, because I remember when I first met you, and you told me how you and your wife are always at the movies and that you love to go to the movies. So I'm thinking you like me and my friends are like that too. Okay. So we're what you would call cinephiles. You probably know what that is. But, you know, we were the guys, probably you and your friends too, the guys who would go to AMC movies and be outside talking about the movie for 20 minutes after it already ended. Right. Just talking about the movie that we just saw, because we love the movie.
And 20 minutes is probably on the low end.
On the low end, right. On the very, very low end, right? Just standing by our cars, talking about a movie, right? And then, or you know, talk about it on somebody's porch the next day, way before YouTube, way before all that stuff. So we always love movies. I was also the guy who used to go to before they had the Thursday showings they have now, used to go to the midnight shows, movies open. I was the guy waiting in line, where the line was like from the door, 300 people back to go see a movie at midnight. I was always that guy. But because of that, we did get into like who the directors were, writers, yada, yada, yada. So I remember when I first met you, you told me like a movie, so I don't know why, but I realized now that everybody's experience is different, mostly from knowing you. But I was like, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I was like, yo, there's this new Guy Ritchie movie coming out this weekend. Do you want to go see it with me? You was like, who the hell is Guy Ritchie? Right? So right then and there, I was like, okay.
Hey, Mike, and as many years later, I'm still like, who the hell is Guy Ritchie? Like, I know his name, but he's
right. So and this was the gentleman that was coming out at that particular time. Okay. But you know, he's done a bunch. So many years later, I'm sorry. At that time, I realized, you know, you watch movies differently, and because you didn't even know who it was. Now, I say that to say, I didn't really watch that trailer too much when that movie came out, The Gentleman, but me and my friends had grown to a point we said, yo, if a Guy Ritchie movie coming out, we want to see it because he's a good director. So that's to your point about like watching it because of the director or because of the movie. So I think the beforehand part can be because of the director. Josh, you know, he loves Nolan, you know, so do I. People love Coogler now, different things. What's the other black guy? Keith from Peele, Jordan Peele, or whatever like that, right? But afterwards, it's about the movie, not necessarily who directed it. But what you can do is when you watch the movie, when you see certain things, you only understand why it was there because of who directed it, like M. Night, who you're referring to, on certain things that he do. So I think that beforehand, but that's not really for you. You're going because of the movie and the trailer. Where Josh, you can just say, yo, Nolan got a movie coming next year, he's gonna go see it regardless. He didn't even gotta watch the trailer. No, the title, no nothing, no whatever like that. So I think certain people are different in that regard. I just want to speak to that.
So, but my only issue is this. I think what bothers me, and again, it's only opinions.
Right.
In people's mouth, but I almost feel like on the other side. So I see a trailer, I get my. That's why when I do my reviews, my second thing I review is my expectations. But my expectations is built off a trailer. You guys' expectations are built off of the director. So we could go see the exact. This is why we're here today. We go see the exact same movie, and I see. I go see a vampire movie, and I see. And I'm like, for a minute and something seconds, I'm like, hey, first of all, if it just ended after 20 seconds, I'm like, I kind of get it. It's music and all that. It went on for a minute and something seconds. I think a minute 21. I was like, I'm sitting there like, whoa, this is kind of weird, right? So anyway, but for you, man, you probably, hey, dude, I see. No, actually, I do think you did. You was like the scene with the other scene we'll get into with the future past. I think that was more like you kind of get that. That kind of felt like it should be in there. I think you all probably don't agree too much with the minute 21 seconds of the Irish dance, right?
Right. So the Irish dancing, I did say that to you in the chat. The Irish dancing, when that was happening, especially for the length of time happening, I was like, okay, this was kind of like overkill because we got the other dancing so much.
Right. Because the other part was first.
Right. I had other issues in the movie, not that one. It's funny because the thing that so let me give the background. So you watched the movie and you said to me, I watched it. I have these issues with it. I want to know what you thought. I want to tell you my issues and stuff like that. Right. So you told me, and the reason why I was shocked because that scene, and even both of those, and really that scene and mostly, is like everyone's favorite part of the movie. Like that's what kind of made the movie. So I say that to say, for me, my issue is, or was my issue at first. One of them was that it's not really a vampire movie. Like I was never scared. It's not a horror movie at all. Like I know he set records for like the horror genre, but that's not really a horror movie. Like, come on. Like it's to me, in my opinion.
So here's the thing. I think if you do it a certain way. So here's what's cool. So you remember Dracula Untold?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. Reason being is I always say they went from beginning to end. Now, this is a spoiler if you guys didn't see it. I'm going to get to the chat right after this. So it's pretty much about Dracula, right? Blah, blah, blah. Same old, same old. But what was so cool, which reminded me of this movie, at the very end, this movie just had it like in the middle of the movie. At the very end, they literally end the movie, but then it goes to the future. And it was like, oh, snap. Just to see like way back in the 18, whatever it was. And then he's walking around in like New York City or whatever, and cars driving by. I was like, that was so dope. So I do get like, it's, about his music. It's so powerful. And then they show, it just felt, it didn't feel right in this movie at that moment. Maybe if like Vampire Dracula Untold, the movie's about to end. Maybe if he was like an old dude and like, well, no. Okay, so, maybe if like that's how they went into the ending scene at the end, the post credit. Mm-hmm. But I felt that was in the middle of the movie, and then it was very cheesy for me. Like they had my man a DJ with the Kango on, a girl twerking. I was like, nah, they could have had the same scene, but I get it. It was. I felt that the twerking.
I haven't even gotten to the scene yet. I haven't gotten to that yet. But you want to read your comment before I get back into it?
Yeah. Let's get to it. Right. I don't mind letting people in, but I kind of wanted you and me to just shut
up. I know. I'm not even done yet. So.
Now I will say this. I know FCAT. He was going. I told you months ago. He was going on and on about the movie before he seen it. Then he seen it. He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever." Then he had some problems. I'm like, "Bro, I ain't even seen the movie. Like, why are you talking to me about it? Let me watch it." So, but I know he definitely want to talk about it. So, and maybe Josh and Cole might come here as well. So, My man Cherry Man Gaming is in the building. He said that was a great movie. Josh said, who is this guy? Guy who? Christopher Nolan studio. He said Christopher Nolan Studios throw money at him. Actors clear their schedules for this for his films, and yes, afterwards is about the film. Gotcha. Chloe is in the building. She said like a Spike Lee joint. Let me see. He said, does Tony realize the movie takes place in Mississippi in 1932? And what other way would they entertain themselves? Music, dancing, drinking, singing, etc. 1930s. You had immigrants from Ireland. You know what? I'm glad you say that. So why the F was people in there twerking, DJs? Like, come on, Josh. You literally just painting a picture. Do you realize it's in 1932? I did. Because when I went to see it, that's what I thought I was getting. And then I was like, again, Dracula Untold did the same thing, but it was at the very end. The movie was done, and I was like, "Oh, that was dope." This was just we'll get to it anyway. But yeah, I need you to remember that, Josh. You're right. I did realize it was 1932 in Mississippi. You're right. No Kangos, no twerking, no crip stepping. They had to look anyway. So I'm gonna throw the link out there. So by the way, that was the director's cut. The theatrical cut was different in the theaters. FYI, really? Is that true?
I don't know. The one on HBO Max? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but in the movie, you seen that they had.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Yeah.
Oh gosh, but that was the best scene. Chloe loved the scene. Someone wasn't listening to the music opening. Up doorways to the past and the future. They even narrated it as it was happening. I mean, I've seen it, Josh. I listened to it, Josh. But like you said, I'll put this on again for you. Does Tony realize the movie takes place in Mississippi, 1932? So just saying. Anyway, Chloe said the point of the scene was that the music transcends line. That is true. It was just a dumb scene. Now here's the thing. I just think it was a dumb scene. Now. I get it though. Like it made sense to see how powerful his music was, what he can do, the reason why the vampire wanted him. It was just a dumb scene. And I feel like what's hard is that, Mike, particularly you, I feel like you can't have a shirt anywhere in your life that says shoe on the other foot. That ain't you. Like I could see if you was like, nah, I mean, I get why you like Franco earlier, my friend in the chat. He was like, I explained what my feelings was. He was like, I see that. Mike, you'll never say I see that. You're like, no.
This is not true. This is not true at all. Chat, this is not true. I definitely can, get someone's opinions and stuff like that. It's your opinion. I mean, I can't change your opinion like you said at the beginning of the show. Right. However, as Josh and Chloe just eloquently explained, I don't because again, the fact that they narrated the scene and they tell you his music transcends timeline. And then they visually show you it translating timelines, which is the twerking, the kangos, the different type of music. They even had the Asian ladies and their dancing, the old African dancing. So it's visually showing you the music is transcending the timelines, which is then bringing in the vampires as well, because the music is so powerful. And my biggest gripe with most movies is show, don't tell. I hate that. My biggest gripe of the movie is two things. It's the fact that we hear about Smoke and Stack and their time with the Chicago Mafia and all the stuff they did in Rob the Train, but we never see it. A little flashback would have worked for me with that. And then secondly, the Choctaw Indians, they have like a cameo. I don't know what, they just show up and leave. I'm like, bro, what? They just all right.
So you know what's cool though? I literally said to Sandy last night, I was like, what would be cool is if they made a prequel and we see what happened in Chicago. You know?
Yeah. Only problem with that it would be changing genres because there would be no vampires. Because they first off saying vampires was in this movie.
Right.
So
what
like
they could do though is, how about if they had a double, right? They had like a movie that showed them in Chicago, and at the same time it showed the Indians chasing dude.
Okay, all right, that would work. Yeah. Chasing Remy.
Yeah, then you got like both.
Right. Chasing Remy.
Yeah.
Now, so that part, to me, bringing that, like I said, and it was And the start of it was, like I said, and I'm going to repeat this, even what I told you for the chat,
Right.
is that him deciding not to stay at church that night with his dad and all that stuff, but rather go to this juke joint, which was considered secular or evil, and then his voice brings the evil in and stuff like that. So it was like this double part of it. So even though, like, you know, and I get why you see, again, going backwards. If you like, you said it too here. I'm watching a vampire movie. What is this? It's just, I don't think the vampires only represented what he was trying to convey, but it wasn't really a vampire movie in my eyes. That's what
I'll say this: if you take out the director, you take out all that. Like if I took my mom, okay, I'm gonna reason with you. If I said, Mom, let's go to the movies, and my mom's like, cool, let's go to the movies. She's sitting in the seat. The movie starts. She's like, okay, church, you know, kid, whatever, preacher, whatever, two twins, whatever. She's going down to the thing. Mind you, it did take 42 minutes for them to show a vampire, but I thought
it's not a vampire movie. What's the camera? Go ahead.
No, I thought look, the Incredible Hulk movie with Eric Banner took 45 minutes before he turned to the Hulk. It was like, what are we doing? That was not cool. So anyway, but they did a great job because that time was character development, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're getting a new IP. Now, if it was a part 2, maybe you'd be like, hey, bro, we ain't sitting here for 42 minutes for a vampire. But, so let's say my mom comes, she sits down, she's like, okay, I'm getting an idea of the two brothers, the twins, whatever. By the way, I thought he did a great job. I watched some reviews that said they didn't think he did a great job. I thought it was brilliant. One, they had 2 different hats. Mm-hmm. Smoke Talk D.
It seemed like 2 different guys, for real. It was good.
They really did. They did a great job. Great job. You know, this wasn't double impact with Van Damme. So anyway, So you know, my mom, she's watching it. You gotta admit, bro, whether you want to or not, if my mom watching this movie set in, as Josh said, 1932, and we get to that scene and she didn't see a trailer, and then they do that, I would have to believe she'd be like, what? It's like when certain movies throw that curveball. It's just it's weird. It was.
I would say, your mom, did you watch the movie? Because they tell you, because they explain it to you, it doesn't make it weird or crazy.
No. What they're saying, I get it. Visually, it was just not cool. Like I watched the movie. Like you did your voice recording, explaining. I'm like, bro, I just seen the movie last night. I seen it, but just what you see and when you see it as a moviegoer, it's just like certain movies. Again, that would have been a perfect extended scene. Right, that would have been perfect. You know, like you're like, oh, the guy narrating that his music's so powerful, it can transcend the future and blah blah blah. You're like, okay, I wonder what would that be like? And then you see extended footage, you're like, oh, that was kind of cool because it's after the fact. But being in the movie, as Josh so eloquently put it, only you don't realize it's 1932. it was just like, I mean, and then it just went. I think he just was like, let's just, because that scene was almost 5 minutes.
Right.
And I just was like, maybe if it was shorter, like we get the point. It was like dragged out, and it was just like the girls, we could have not had it twerk. We probably could have not had the.
That's showing, but it's showing if it's transcended the past and future, and they're in 1932. That's showing today's genre of dance, which you see at every club. So that's the future of dance from where they're in 1932.
Maybe if he spent extra money and put Cardi B in there, maybe if the dude that can go was LL Cool J, maybe if it was like recognizable people, you would give it a pass. But it was just so like.
So you said if they like did like I don't know what today's dance is. Let's say whatever they were doing a Dougie or something like that from a few years ago, right. and that showed the future, huh?
So that's still
old. Whatever. But let's say they showed the future dance.
Crip walk, you know.
Crip walk, right. You know, you would have been better off than not the twerking. That's what you're telling me. Like, would it make you feel better about it?
I feel like if it was just a short scene, like maybe this would have been the 1:21 scene. You know what I mean? Like shorter, because you could have had the African dance, the twerking real quick, right. Dude on the DJ. But it just dragged it out, and it just was like you was 1932, Josh, and then you were. It was just like, wait, hold up. It was too much. It was just too much. And then I feel like the African dancing, I feel like they didn't like that was more like the quick in and out scene, right? I don't know. It took you out of your expectation. It sounds like to me. Listen, I still like the movie. It didn't make me think less of the movie. I just felt like, man, that was just a weird scene. That was just, I'll be honest, to me, I felt like that was kind of dumb. Now, again, if it was like the end of the movie and then it was like, or just wasn't in the movie and was like behind the scenes or something. But anyway, that was just my thing. But Sandy, you wanna she actually was gonna mention
my mom and grandma who I saw it with, they didn't actually like the movie, but I don't know if that was the reason. I gotta ask them why they like the movie or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I think my mom would have been like, but hold up, Chloe said, oh yeah, that scene was genius. Let me see. I will do this so you can see Sandy. Close to that scene was genius.
Hey,
Hyperball for the cowboy. Let me see. Josh put. Josh put in the. I wish you could see it on here, but you can't. Let's see. Also represents that black music was the root of all the music. OMG, let me in. Okay, man. Damn. I'm glad Cowboy got his hat on because he is capping. No, you're capping because you went hard on this whole. Did you realize it's 1932 and now you're cool with twerking and all that? I think you're capping. But let's bring in none other than my guy F Cat. Now, Host was the one guy that was on my live stuff more than anybody. And F Cat like took that and surpassed it. He's a big deal. He comes on. I always say anybody could bring topics on the shows, and F Cat. I swear he got like a little notebook and a file. He probably rolled in. And so when I bring in F-Cat nowadays, I got to bring him into his own intro. So bringing in none other than F the. Hey, do we feel like this is a movie? All of a sudden, we're doing a regular podcast, and then we're like out of nowhere. But coming in is F the Cat.
Wow, wrong person.
You know what's crazy? F Cat was in here before you, and I guess he must have dropped down and dropped back in. So I should have known that it wasn't just a black screen.
Wow.
One job, right?
Okay, Josh Cat.
One job. Anyway, let's bring in none other than F the Cat. What's up, F Cat?
Yeah, y'all losing it.
Huh?
I think y'all losing it.
Hey, man, my bad. Well, listen, let me just bring out. Let me get your.
Yeah, go ahead. Bring in Josh.
Okay, got it. All right, bring in Josh. Well, guys, coming in next is a guy that we gave you a sneak peek who is coming in is none other than my guy, Mr. Josh Warren himself. Let's go.
Hi, man.
What up, Sandy Cheeks? What up, Big Mike? What up, F Cat? What up, Cowboy?
What's up, Josh?
So I know you're going after the musical stuff, Cowboy, and it was pretty apparent to me that it was a musical when the Irish people were singing outside.
Well, I think that part actually happened.
And I was at that point, I was like, no, that's before the river dance and all that.
Okay, got you. You're saying when they
when they were playing the guitar, talking about.
Yeah, and they were singing the Irish song. I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, this movie is a musical. But I mean, it's not the first. I know you kept saying it's not a horror movie, but it kind of is because the first one to do that was Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's considered a horror. Also, is Sweetie Todd.
Yeah, Sweetie Todd. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know you kept repeating that it's not a horror movie, it's not a vampire movie, but you'll have to admit, as a horror movie fanatic, if you've seen Dusk Till Dawn, Sinners is literally Dusk Till Dawn.
I mean, well, he takes his, well, just to back you up, not again. This is about, and this goes back to knowing the director and the director what his thought process was. But he actually gave some credit to Robert Rodriguez, that he took some inspiration from Dusk Till Dawn. So he's not like hiding it or nothing like that. But it's
at first he said something about Puss in Boots or something like that.
Well, he put that in too. He took inspiration from, but it's not Till Dusk Till Dawn. As far as the music is concerned, his entire reason for making the movie was because of the music. And I know you don't know this.
Yeah, the music's great.
Because of your, you're not thinking directors, but his uncle, like the guy who in the movie is the real character, who plays Sammy. I forget his name, but that was Ryan Coogler's uncle's favorite musician. And he's from Mississippi. So is Ryan Coogler's uncle, and he died. So he said, "I'll make this movie as a tribute to my uncle and the music that he loved, and he had playing for me growing up." That's why I hear that type of music. So it's the music in the movie, because that's why he made the movie in the first place and whatnot. He actually, the vampires, like the music part, that came first in his thought process. The vampires were like the last thing. Like, you know what? Maybe I can center this around vampires as like not the twist, but like the hook, I guess.
Well, I watched the thing that he said what was cool. They said, why Irish vampires? He said he wanted them to be come to this country and like isn't familiar with the racism and all that. Mm-hmm. So their whole thing was like, be a part of us because we're higher and we're above, black and white. We're above, like you be with us, we're on another level. And I feel like he said that real briefly in the movie, but I felt like that wasn't portrayed good enough in the movie.
Yeah. So Maker commented in chat, it's about the bar thing, and it's way more than that. Just them in the bar place with music. It's crazy because there's two brothers, and they're looking for a new life, right? Just like in Dusk Till Dawn. There's things with like the preacher's daughter, you have a daughter, you have a son, and all this. It's crazy. Like, I had this thing pulled up. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
Didn't you say you felt it was also like if you mixed them two with Django, right?
Yeah, probably that too.
Yeah. The Django was more the I guess the action parts.
Okay.
Like that at the end when he's shooting the white guy, like that's kind of with the slow motion bullet time stuff. Like,
it's funny because I still never seen that. But let me bring in another guest. Look, people want to talk about this movie. All right, Josh, listen, I need to have you.
I want to hear Josh's thoughts real quick before you want to.
Huh? You want to?
I want to make sure you hear Josh's thoughts about what you said.
Oh yeah. Before I bring in the next person, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I get for you as a movie goer. So even to your original question, your expectations are based upon. It could be based upon a movie. It could be based upon a director, and even to reviews. Our expectations based upon your reviews. We have an expectation because certain things you may like, certain things you don't like, and that's fair. We all have our own opinion. We all have our own preferences, which I get. But at the same time, regardless of the director or the film, I think you can see that in the film that the dancing is viewed as part of spiritual warfare. Like the dancing and music that's basically the symbolism of that. So it's not just like having a party or having things out of time. It's as Poe said, is as the narrator said, as it was happening in the scene, it's transcending time. These elements of music, they can make you just lose all control, and that's kind of what it was symbolizing. And this is why I say you was capping, Cowboy. I'm glad you got the hat on because you be the biggest party animal dancing on the dance floor. So we know what it means.
So Josh, I'm just gonna have to say you capping because in your own words, does Tony realize the movie takes place in Mississippi in 1932? So I'm just saying you capping, man. It was in 1932. They didn't have no Kangos. They didn't have no twerking. They wasn't crip walking in 1932, Josh. You capping. Because you wanted to remind me.
How is that capping if it says what it was doing during the film?
But
the music was great.
You're stepping over that point. to make your point, but you still have to acknowledge that point first.
Well, I'm going to read. You said, does Tony realize the movie takes place in Mississippi in 1932? What other way would they entertain themselves? Music, dancing, drinking, singing, etc. 1930s, you had immigrants from Ireland, Europe. But you didn't say anything about kangos, crip walking, you know. But anyway, Sandy, what about you?
I'm just gonna say, so I get the whole you're saying the music goes with like, oh, you can see the future, and that's why they added twerking and this dance and that dance. You don't think they could have portrayed it without that though?
They did in theaters. They didn't have all that in theaters. They had more what's it called? It had like older cultures as opposed to newer.
Okay. Because my whole thing on the movie is like, all right, to me that was silly, right? Because they just throwing new stuff like twerking and crip walking and all that in the middle of like a dance party in 1932, right? I get that they're trying to portray, oh, he could see the future of music and stuff like that, but I just felt like it was kind of silly to add that in there. I feel like they could have.
But what dance did they add though? Because it's showing the future dance. That's a current dance, twerking. So he's showing that it's transcending from there to now. Is there a certain dance you would have rather seen from 2025?
No.
I just feel like they didn't need to put that in a 1932 dance to portray that he could see the future of music.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
I'm sure twerking was a part of dancing in 1932. Because there was a lot of dirty dancing considered back then. There was, you know, kind of
right, because dancing does come from Africa originally too.
Yeah,
so it predates current twerking. So maybe that was also symbolism.
No, you stuff like the twist was considered sexual, you know?
Maybe he could have showed people twerking back then, like
what it looked like back then.
Yeah, and you'd have been like, and you.
I mean, we did see that
like,
on the dance floor.
Yeah.
We saw Pearline. Pearline was twerking on the dance floor. We seen that.
Yeah, so maybe the parallel, you'd have like, oh snap, she's twerking. That's what we do today. I see that transcending the future.
Right, like they could have still been in 1932
but
doing some of them dances,
but one thing,
kind of showing you like this is like how they became the futuristic dances or something like that. I don't know. I just felt like it was like out of place a little bit, but I get the story.
No, it was way out of place.
Like I'm not saying I don't understand the storyline. I get it.
The degrading.
I felt like it was kind of like cheesy.
You know what? It's just one of those things where if you're directing and you take a chance, you're like, you know what? I'm sure he thought about it. He probably was like, I wonder what this look weird because it's 1930s and the movie at this point has been longer than an hour and a half, right? Yeah. And then you throw that in there. I'm sure he probably was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw it in there. It's like that
was his vision. That's the way he
Jordan Peele's movie Nope, right? You watch Nope about the spaceship that really ended up being alive, and you get to the end of the movie. I'm telling you, he had to have run out of budget. That was the most low budget. It looked like a napkin flying. I was just like,
it was terrible.
I was shocked. Like, yo, I really can't believe it looked this bad. But I bet he was like, what should it look like? And somebody was like, and he probably showed it, and a couple people was probably like, he was like, no, we're gonna go with it.
I thought it looked great. I thought it'd make a lot of sense.
Maybe the music was behind that of Dusk Till Dawn.
No, yo, get over to Dusk Till Dawn. It's not Dusk Till Dawn. It's just small inspiration. Like it
I have a video. It's like
I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
But my opinion to like throwing the futuristic dance scenes in there, I just felt like they could have portrayed that a different way and got their point across without it. That's it. Because to me, I was like, yo, this is kind of stupid.
Well, the thing is,
that's my opinion. Everybody else could say they loved it. They thought it was so like futuristic or whatever they want to say about it. That's fine. That's your opinion as well. Like I respect everybody's opinion, but in my opinion, it just didn't need that.
Yeah, I just felt for me the movie was going so good and it brought it down. For me, I was like I got it. Like I said, and Dracula Untold, that blew me away. I was like, yo, they went as far as to making the future, but the movie was done, and then they showed that at the end. But in the middle,
so you're saying they could have just told you that and had to bring in the vampires without even showing you any dancing. You're saying, or
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think the visual. You know what it is? I think sometimes we want visuals, but in this sense, for me, it was the backfire effect. It was like you could have just said it,
and I would have got it.
And I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. He's this, but then to show it, and he went in great detail. I think it was just a bit extra, right? he showed crip walking, he showed twerking, he showed the DJ. Like he made like it again. It was 5-minute scene. It was just like.
Right.
Anyway, but let's bring in the maker of Chaos. I'm curious what to see what the maker got to say. Maker, the floor is yours. What's up, man?
Yeah. I just don't get the whole From Dusk Till Dawn reference. Just because it has certain elements that are similar doesn't mean that it's, the same plot line.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So then, what if FCat showed you what he was talking about?
Like for one, FCat said that they were like escaping or getting away. But this is them returning home. It's not. They're going back to a familiar territory. They're meeting people that they've known for years and coming back and seeing again. I think that's a very different setup than just From Dusk Till Dawn in general. And then from another one is the music aspect of it. Just changes it drastically.
Let him finish. Let him finish. What you say, Maker?
It to me it's significantly different. Like I don't understand, like I can understand certain comparisons for like certain elements, but at the same time you can bring that up with just about any other movie as well.
The only difference is they're not running from the law, Maker. That's the only difference.
It's not even that. You're returning home compared to the other two on the run getting away. Like there's a completely different setup with that.
But the hopeful youth remains, and the brother, the younger brother remains. The younger brother and the hopeful youth remains at the end.
Yeah. Usually the young one survives at the end of the situations like this.
Play the thing. This ain't even the Mexican guy that I saw at first. And I was like, oh yeah, he's...
Okay, you gave me a clip. I'll play the clip, all right? So let me just play the clip. Hey. You're gonna be about here, right? All right, so here's the clip.
You can mute it. Yeah, I mean...
Oh, snap.
I'm sorry. I mean, the movie's great, but the whole time I just felt like this is Dusk Till Dawn.
Damn, they do. They got some similar scenes.
I mean, like scene for scene, I was just like, yeah, I've seen this before.
Bro,
I
don't agree with that. You don't got the whole scene with Smoke and his woman, the dead baby. That's a whole nother story that happened in this movie. The stuff with the Asians at the downtown bodega. Like, there's so many different parts of this movie that's not nothing like Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to say a big difference is from Dusk Till Dawn. They go to a location where the people running it are the vampires, and whereas this one is the vampires are arriving at the bar. They came because of the music. There's a whole different entrance.
Right, and they can't be let in unless they're invited in, which I have an issue with.
That is a vampire thing. That is just a vampire thing. You can't just say like just because it has that same element that this other vampire movie had means it can't it coexist. Like they're copied directly off each other.
I see where he's bringing in his similarities, which is fine. You have your similarities. Hold up real quick. Let me go to the chat. Got somebody new in the building.
Basically, the story and the plot is almost direct.
All right, so Bill Munger said, I love this. Wichita, Kansas tapping in. Blessings, everyone. Man, coming from Wichita, Kansas. Let me see. Joshua said the difference is they're smoother. And then 5-0 is in the building. What's up, 5-0 Trey Gaming? He said, what up, peoples? Thought the movie was okay, not bad. And the director of the movie is doing the new X-Files reboot. Oh, wow. Is it going to be a series or a movie? All right, sorry. I did. So let me ask you this, though. I think me and Mike, this whole thing started because of the dance scene. So I kind of want to go around. You heard from me and Mike and Josh. But FCat, what was your thoughts with the the scene where it showed transcending and showed, you know, the future and twerking and the crip walking and the African dance and all that. What was your thoughts when you sat down and you watched the movie and that scene happened?
Wait, what's it? I found the clip that they need you to play.
Oh, say that again?
I sent you in a private, the one that I meant to send the first time.
Okay. Well, what's your thoughts though?
On the music, that was great. They deserve an Oscar for best soundtrack.
All right, never mind, man. What was your thoughts when that scene happened? So you watch the movie, that scene comes up. You know, what was your thoughts?
That's basically the scene in Dusk Till Dawn where all eyes are on Selma Hayek.
Specific question, man.
That's the best way to describe it.
Huh?
Just play the damn video.
I will when I make her get a chance to answer the question you didn't answer. Go ahead, man.
So to me, I didn't really mind those elements being added. To me, I thought it was about like music transcending time. The whole like, I mean, they signify there's like once in a generation you have this musician, this person who like it makes everyone come alive and feel. And I thought it was all like a feel thing. They knew. And that's why they did the things that they did, and it's just like feeling the music, right? And so it didn't bother me at all. I didn't have an issue. I just enjoyed the vibe, the feel that they had with that music ongoing and the party. I thought they did a good job with that.
That's cool. But visually, when you're seeing twerking, you're seeing somebody with a kangaroo and all that, it didn't seem out of place for the.
No, well, it didn't take me out of it as what I was still vibing. I was still enjoying it.
Cool. All right, let me play this video.
This dude goes more into it.
Can I ask you a
better
question?
detail.
When you get a chance.
Go ahead, Mike.
Because you and Sandy both, y'all seem obsessed with the twerking and the kangos from like the 80s and 2000s, I guess, like that. Because it was 1932. But how come you don't? How come because they show like 30 different type of dances in that scene, not just those two. How come the scenes from before 1932 didn't bother you when they were showing previous dancing from like the 1800s and like the Mayan times and stuff like that? But only the future dances bothered you, but not the previous dances didn't bother you.
Right. Yeah, because I think the past. So if you have a movie in 1932 and you like. You could have like a prequel, right? And you could say like the Chicago part. They explained they was in Chicago and they had all this money. So you get okay. So I think I can't tell what time frame all the other stuff is, so it doesn't stick with me. Like I can't tell what time frame the African dance and all this stuff. I just like, okay, cool. But when I see somebody with a kango and DJ and like that sticks out to me. That's more in my mind. Like that was more part of my day and age. So like that it's easier for me to. I can't relate to I can't even tell if the African dance was at the same time as their time, but in Africa because they were saying transcending from past, future, all over, right? But what sticks out to me like is like twerking. I mean, twerking doesn't get a good I don't know. Again, that's what sticks out more to me because that was in my time, my life.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Cowboy, do you have a problem with twerking? Do you find it degrading?
Yeah,
dance or something like?
No, not at all. I not at all. Again, like I said, Dracula Untold did the similar thing, but it was at the end of the movie when the movie was ending. So it was literally like the movie passed itself. The movie was like you've seen the 19 or 18 whatever, and then like this is where he went. It was like, oh wow. This I just felt like it never. When you're watching a movie, nowhere did I feel that scene would have been in the movie, right? So it definitely took me out of my element because I was like, what the? Like it was just very shocking for what the movie gave you. As Josh said, the movie was 1932. So, but again, listen, I still thought the movie was good. Like, besides that, I think my critique would be, it was probably the scene was too long, right? If he still kept the twerking, he kept this, but it came back to the dude with the DJ. Like, it wasn't like, I mean, I could play the whole scene if y'all want. Like, it was 5 minutes and something seconds. I just felt like we got the point that once you showed somebody twerking, it was like, oh, damn, you know, you're showing the future and everything. It was just like he stuck to it too long. And then even the part that we try not to talk about, Mike alluded to, even the other part was the Irish dancing. At that point, I was like, is this now as a music video? Because it literally felt like it was a music video. Like he was in the middle. It felt like Thriller kind of. The crowd came up to him. They backed up. I was like, wow, they really like choreographed.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
it seemed like Thriller. It really seemed like Thriller.
I'm not nowhere am I saying the movie was terrible. I'm just saying that we're here today because our difference of opinions on those scenes. But I'm just shocked at the amount of people that was kind of like, nah, it was cool. Wow, you know, they just broke out in the song and danced, and it was like, hey, I just felt like, that I think that's a little bit of cap.
That's most people's favorite scene. I told you the whole movie. Like close it.
I mean, all I can say for that is, I just think, as I said in our chat, there's some people who love the director and they're kind of pro-black, so the twerking and stuff was like, hey, you know what? Let's go. But I feel like the average going to see a vampire movie, and you see that, you're like, wait, what's going on here?
Ryan Coogler also, I think, executive produced Ironheart, and like the first 3 episodes were amazing, but then the last episodes were real bad.
Right. I mean, I never knew. I heard his name a bunch of times, but I didn't know who he was. Like I knew he was a director, and so that same day we was gonna watch it. I ended up watching it because FCAT, you go on and on about Ironheart, you love it, you hate it, I don't know. So I seen the Ironheart thing, and they was asking him a question. So I clicked on it to just hear the director, and I was shocked.
No, I was pointing out that the anti-woke people were going after it,
right?
For secret reasons.
But I didn't know he was black, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. He was black, and then he did strike me a little hood though. But
he directed Black Panther.
Yeah, I didn't even know who the director was going into it, so I didn't know he made Black Panther.
Mike is shocked. He's like, "What? You don't know who made Black Panther?"
Well, I didn't know. To be fair,
I'm very shocked, especially because he like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Creed, like some of the biggest blockbusters.
Well, I didn't like Black Panther. Well, I liked Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Just I didn't like it as well as the original Black Panther. I did really enjoy that, and then I haven't seen Creed, so really I just had watched one of them.
And more so about the Marvel movies because like most people know who directed these Marvel movies because they're so polarizing, right? They're either they love them or they hate them.
If I didn't talk to you and Josh, I wouldn't know who directed.
The only one I know who directed the Marvel movies, I only knew that Joss Whedon did like the original Avengers. Yeah, right. I don't know any of the other. I don't know who directed the others. I haven't been looking at them going in for those.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like that though. I think in gaming, we'll have to switch to gaming. Josh's been around for my gaming podcast a little more. I know sometimes you be like, "What are y'all talking about? You don't know the name of the directors and the CEO." And it's like so high level that you're probably like, "Bro, why do you know the name of the people who made Devil May Cry or something like that?" But and I always say to these guys, I always say, if I was to go into my chat with my friends, Franco and them, and start talking gaming the way we talk it, like, "Oh, the consoles were," they would laugh me out the building. They were like, "What?" Because
it makes sense.
Our world on YouTube, we're so into this stuff that the normal person don't care. And the same thing I feel like movies. There's people who be like, he's going to direct the new X-Files. You're like, what? Like,
no, I agree. I agree. I didn't know who the hell Craig Mazin was before I watched the Last of Us show.
Oh,
several people did. So
yeah. I knew him because I had watched Chernobyl and I really enjoyed it. And then when I saw it said makers of Chernobyl, I was like, oh, yeah. Well, and then I found out who he was, Greg Mazin or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess that's why they do that, right? They'll make a show and say the makers of this and that, so you could get a correlation. Like if you like their stuff, you might be like, oh, I'll give this a chance, because it really is like I said in gaming. A lot of people are give me a trailer that sucked me in, or have a friend of mine say you got to see this. But then on you guys' side, like Josh said, it's like Christopher Nolan. I'm in. I don't need to see a trailer. So those are good stuff. Now on the bad part, let's say it's a director that ain't that good, or you don't like their stuff, like M. Night Shyamalan. Some people don't like his stuff. Like, oh, I ain't going to see it.
I like his old stuff.
That can happen too.
So does that happen in gaming though, where like gamers buy a game based on who made the game?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's
I do that.
like movies. Gamers would be like, Naughty Dog, I don't care. I'm getting that. You're like, damn.
Okay.
It is real. Yeah, it's real. It's the same thing.
Like you mentioned Guy Ritchie. You're gonna go see that new Guy Ritchie film.
Right. I get it.
like I try not to get too into that, but I do feel so Naughty Dog people made Last of Us. Their next game is what is it called?
Interstellar. No, not Interstellar. Intergalactic. You're right. I'm thinking movies.
No, Intergalactic, right? Intergalactic.
Yeah, it's Intergalactic.
Prophet, right? The Hectic Prophet or something.
The Heretic Prophet.
All the stuff they did. I feel like it's gonna be really good, but I could be wrong. But I feel like I get what you're saying with movies, like Josh, because in gaming, I'm like, when I do pay attention, like in gaming, for instance, right? There's a big thing. Little Nightmares 3 is coming out in October 11th, I believe. Now, the people who made part 1, part 2, they're not making part 3. So in the gaming world, we're like, oh, do you think this would be the good? Now, the original people who made 1 and 2 are making a game called Reanimal. So everybody's like, will Reanimal be the real Little Nightmares 3? So it's the same thing you're saying in movies. It's kind of the same thing happening again.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way. Probably for gaming either, but for movies either. Like Steven Spielberg was probably the first superstar director. Before that, people didn't know who the hell directed these movies. Right. But once he came out with Jaws, then became like a superstar director. You started to know who the directors were. So it's probably has always been
J.J. Abrams or
right. Like it was Stephen King, you're like, oh,
We still on Sinners because there was a little hiccup on the vampire rules in the movie. So for one part, when the black lady is talking to the big black guy, and she's like, you could just walk through big ass on in here. That's basically an invite in the
why
South.
Don't you?
No.
Why don't you? That's a question.
But then she stopped him, and she's like, but if you don't come inside, you're dead. So she kind of catches him there, and it stops the.
So I answered that. In the chat. She asked him a question. She didn't make a statement. You have to say
in the South, waltz your big ass on in here is an invite. I'm sorry.
She said, "Why don't you?"
Yeah. Why don't you?
That's an invite.
No,
it's not an
invite. It has to be an actual invite into the home.
Not an invite.
Also, the white girl, she's a vampire. Then she gets invited in, has sex with the dude, turns into a vampire, then scurries out the house.
So So my wife was saying to me, she was like, "What I don't get is she was already in. She probably could have killed everybody, and then she ran out." Like, that one part I was like, that is true. She could have invited them in, but I was like, why did she run out?
Yeah.
That part.
If you watch True Blood, like what's up with that.
But hold on, can vampires invite other vampires and still gotta invite them by the?
I don't know, but I do feel she probably could have killed everybody by herself.
But I think Remy called her back out, or he wanted to do it. He wanted to do it. Remember that he
got up and just ran out.
Right, remember he had mind link to all of them.
Well, they listen. They didn't show what he called her. All right,
they didn't show it. Yeah,
he just got up and ran out.
Yeah. But he did say he had a mind link to all of them.
She was also found out. It's like usually when you're found out, you're gonna escape or you're gonna get away. That's usually the situation. If I don't know if they had a method, because like towards the end, they had methods to fight back against them, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But
once
like,
they realized what they were.
yeah.
At
That
that point, they had no
that's
choice.
why I believe that it's all to the leader. The leader has to hear "come on in" or be invited in for all the other vampires to come in because he's my link to them.
It's
That's what I
individual.
believe.
It's individual. Like that particular person has to be invited in.
Yeah.
FCAT, let me play this clip you gave me like a while ago. All right.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I don't know if the chick's reacting to him or not, but this is
he got some.
the first one.
Yeah, hold on. Before you play this, when he said this, he had turned his comments off. He was getting killed for weeks.
Yeah, because they called him racist and all that stuff.
All right, let me cut out. Let me play it real quick.
Movie Sinners, but ... Part 1. There will be spoilers. I love the movie Sinners, but ... Part 1. There will be spoilers. I love the movie Sinners, but it's literally the plot of From Dusk Till Dawn. Two criminal brothers head down south to start new lives. While down south, they are trapped in a building that's in the middle of nowhere, and they find themselves surrounded by vampires. One of the brothers is seduced by a beautiful vampire temptress and gets turned into a vampire. The other brother, who's a straight shooter, leads a group of survivors to survive the night until dawn. And throughout the movie, we have discussions about religion, faith, and family. In the final climactic battle of this movie, there's a huge fight between the survivors and the vampires. The Asian character in this movie sacrifices himself to protect their family. One of the characters in this movie who is turned begs their loved one to end their life, and with tears in their eyes, they do. And after killing all the vampires via sunlight, the only two survivors are the brother and the hopeful youth. The hopeful youth whose father was a preacher. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here because I follow people in the horror community. No one's talking about this. It's insane. There is one fucking.
But FCAT, you're
Also, at the end, you see the people that they made the deal with to get the place, which also happens at the end of Dusk Till Dawn. They run into the people who owns the club.
So I'm going to tell you.
I haven't seen Dusk Till Dawn in a very long time, but it did we watch a couple clips. It does remind me like, oh, it has a similar feeling, but I don't. What is your point though? You feel that like what's your actual point? Like, did he copy Dusk Till Dawn? You feel it's the same movie? Like, what's your point?
I feel like the Dusk Till Dawn sequel shouldn't have happened, and like the Sinners is the sequel. Like that's the reboot.
Well, it's a sequel or a reboot?
It's a reboot.
You need to stop listening to people who don't know what they're talking about.
Dude,
I'm just going to be completely honest.
Fanatic, you know this stuff. Like
no.
You're horribly fanatic. You hear what he said? That no one in the horror community is saying this, right? He calls so many people. Yeah. You know why he said that? Because nobody felt that way.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think when he show a couple of trailers, this guy when he said the other video, I can see the similarity. You can see the similarities, right?
Again, Ryan Coogler, even before the movie came out, thanked Robert Rodriguez for some inspiration. So there's definitely similarities. Again, he's not saying there's not, but it's a whole lot of different things going on.
It is a lot more. One they're running. One is they're coming back, which is Sinners. They're coming back home. They're trying to make money again, right? Like whereas in From Dusk Till Dawn, they're just trying to get out of there. They're escaping. It's an escape plan. This is them settling down.
Well, Baker, you don't want to steal the whole movie now, right?
Even the part with the vampire.
Then it's not stealing,
right? Salma Hayek was she didn't know them. She was already a vampire. This girl grew up with them. Right, and she got turned to a vampire trying to help them out.
Mike,
it's a whole
she was in love with one of them.
Yeah,
Mike. Again, you don't want to steal the whole movie, right? You gotta have something. I think that's gotta say you gotta have.
What at one point is it stealing? And like that's my thing. Like
so it reminds me of I'm gonna go into the game and stuff, Mike. So Mike, the game of the year last year was Astrobot. And the developers came on screen and said, look, we got to give credit to Nintendo. they said it without saying it, but they was like, there's other games that came before us, and we got to give a big nod to Nintendo for Mario because it was a similar type game, right? Not the same game, but you'll play it and be like, this kind of remind me of Mario.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
It happens in all
No.
entertainment. It's
But
called
nobody's
paying
saying.
homage.
Yeah.
and I
Nobody's
didn't watch
saying
the movie.
Astrobot is a spiritual successor to Mario. No one is saying that.
Yeah,
Right,
like
right,
to say not to say it was like a reboot or a sequel is crazy. Like it's not that
I
close
agree.
enough to be like it's like that.
Well,
I think
listen, again, that's the FCAT's opinion, right?
I get it.
I say, is he capping? I mean, because I get told I'm capping because I think
It's a great movie. It's still one of the best movies of this year. But I mean, as far as a horror movie, it's basically Dust Till Dawn.
I think it's a mid. I think Dust Till Dawn is actually scarier than this, though. I think this movie is mid as a horror movie.
Right.
Yeah, this is more like music is more influential in this. There's so much more to it than just the vampire aspect of.
I feel like the music just gave it another genre. Like they just entered a whole nother genre with the movie.
I think it's the main genre. I think the vampire is really secondary to the music, in my opinion. When you watch it.
Right.
Yeah, if you the things that you're nitpicking about makes up maybe like 10 minutes of the whole movie. Like there's so much more to the movie than just these small elements.
Maker, I will say this: you can have a great movie and a bad ending, and it will change that movie. You can have a bad movie and a great ending, and it will change that movie. So
I agree with that.
You have to remember, there's certain you could take 10 minutes of a movie and be like, at the end of the day, your movie going still will be tarnished. You can be like, man, that movie was really good, but there's certain stuff that you can't like. I'll never be able to have a conversation with Sinners ever, and not bring up that scene. Like, how can you? Right?
But to say because the youthful one survives at the end means it copies from Dusk Till Dawn, you might as well say, oh well, it's also copying Alien because God dang it, Sigourney Weaver survives because she's like the young, youthful one.
No, she was the more badass, I guess. That's why she survived.
Yeah, but there's always the lone survivor in horror films. Like that's just a thing that happens.
No, there's two survived.
Listen, I'm excited.
One dies.
Finally got to have.
Actually, the other brother survived too. You find out at the end.
Yeah, but he's
excited that FCAT got a chance to bring this up, in a live audience. But I don't want the whole thing to get caught up on Dusk Till Dawn, because that's what it's not about. But it's cool because FCAT, this really was something he wanted to talk about months ago. So look, FCAT, there you have it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to get
when we doing Ironheart spoilers.
We should not. The show's been over for a week now, almost.
Yeah, I probably you know what? Because you bring it up so much, FCAT, I actually was thinking, when I watched that video of them talking about it, I was like, man, I kind of want to watch it. There's only 6 episodes, but I'm so far behind in the Marvel shows. I guess I don't have to watch them in order, but
like I said, they could have just ended after episode 3. They should have just ended it right there. It was perfect, and they just beat it to hell. All the heart and soul of that show.
I might do a review on it in the next week if you want to. You might want to jump on mine or something.
Yeah, man, Mike. Whenever you do it, whenever you do stuff, content, send me the link so I could all post it as well.
All right, cool.
Because people know you too, man, and people like your content.
Yeah, I'm going to see Superman on the early screening tomorrow night. So,
and the thing about it, Mike, I'm not looking at it like the anti-woke people are saying it. I see it for what it is, but the last couple of episodes, they go sideways.
Well, I actually agree with you, but I want to
happen?
Show with that. But I agree with you on Ironheart, though. So, yeah.
So, you know what's funny? I actually bought my tickets for Superman last night. We're going to go on Thursday. But one thing I didn't say that you guys mentioned a couple of times, I'm actually going to Mississippi this weekend.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So since we live, so this guy Energy that I met, we didn't meet in person yet, but it's his birthday on Saturday. And I told him, like, dude, when I move to Florida, I'll be closer. I'll drive out there. So it's about 7 hours, technically 8, but that 1 hour come back. So it's an 8-hour drive. So me and Sandy are going to go out there for the weekend. We're going to leave like Friday around no later than 6 and get there around 2 in the morning. Well, technically it'd be 1 in the morning. And then we're going to stay for his birthday, and then we'll leave on Sunday. So that's going to be
pretty awesome, bro.
I've only went East Coast in my whole life, pretty much, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Never went west. Yeah, I got it.
Never. I mean, I went to Alabama once. My ex-wife had a family reunion in Alabama, but
yeah.
So that'd be cool. But so Josh, I might go there and be twerking and crick walking.
Hey, he might be a vampire. Only see him in the daylight. You never know.
So let me ask you guys this. So what would you guys give it as a score? So I'll go first. 1 to 10. I didn't want to give it at least an 8, but I had to drop at least 1 point for the twerking and all that. That's still it's a negative thing for me, and I keep saying twerking. Sorry, that scene, and the other scene was just a little too long, so that was a little. It was a negative, and I can't get past it. So that made me give it a 7, but I would have liked to give it an 8. What about you, Mike? I'm curious.
I gave it an 8.5, and not because of that scene. I told you my issue is the Choctaw Indians. I feel like they were just they're weirdly thrown in without anything, any backstory, any thoughts of who's who. Not even any names at all for these guys, and then they just disappear. And I don't like that aspect of it all. And I would have loved to have seen. Josh, I see you making a face, but I got a huge issue with that because they could have used anybody for that. They don't have to use these Indians. And the fact is, if you want to give me something, then give me more of that. Like, it would have been dope, honestly, since they were the ones who were chasing Remy in the first place, if they would have wound up showing back up to the juke joint to help save the people. And whatnot. But the fact that you never see him again and whatnot.
Well, Mike, would it have made you better if they showed them get a minute and something dance scene with their little dance?
They was in there. They was in there.
But the ones who were chasing him, talking about Remy himself.
Yeah,
and then you see, and when you meet Remy, he's already beat up and messed up or whatever when he gets invited to the race people house. So it's like, yo, what happened? You're like, again, you're showing me but not showing me enough, and they disappear. So it's like, how long have they been chasing Remy? Was it more of them they got before they got to Remy? What happened after that? It's just like a weird thing. And then, like I said before, I don't like the part about telling me about their mafia life, even giving me this whole thing about how they robbed his train without me seeing any of it. So for me, it was an 8.5.
Okay, that's fair. So, I'm thinking like, so you give it an 8.5, so a 1.5. Like that, I guess that's kind of fair, right? That's a good amount of like, you just felt like it would have been, because when we think of a 10, that means it's a solid movie, right?
Yeah.
Covered everything. So you're right. Like Endgame was so good, but my issue, the lack of a hope scene. So I'm just like, how could I give it a 10, right?
Right.
So I told it that's why. Listen, regardless of like, I love it that we disagree. We're not the same people, but I respect the hell out of your opinions as well. As like I totally get this scene was cool for what it did. I just felt it was just weird, but I totally get for them to actually put it in there and show it, like Maker liked it, like people feel like that was cool, and I totally get it. So I love hearing your points, Mike. FCAT, if it's any way possible, you can give us a 1 to be out of 1.
I had already gave it 9 out of 10. It's the best movie I saw this year. It was just a disappointment when I went to see it in theaters because, I heard so much hype about it.
Okay.
That was all original, and I just...
Whoa. You gave it a 9 out of 10, but you were disappointed?
I was disappointed because I walked up the theater feeling like I've already seen this because I saw it with Dust Till Dawn.
That shouldn't dictate your score, though. So you feeling like, well, 1, you shouldn't be listening to spoilers. And 2, how does that change your score?
I mean, like I said, Sinners deserves Oscars. Sinners deserves Oscars.
Hold on. You're scoring the movie, not you. You're taking points off of the movie because you felt. Oh wait. All right, stop. You mean you're talking about the Dust to Dawn part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right. I understand that. Okay. So I get what you're saying. You're taking points off because you felt like it wasn't original.
That makes sense.
Right? Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense, but we'll go
in
with
a
it.
horror movie sense. But the musical stuff I was cool with because I'm used to that Rocky Horror Picture Show favorite all time ever. You know.
Well, you know what? And what's fair is you actually classified the movie as a musical. And Sweeney Todd, I went to the movie to see that. That was a
Do
musical.
a horror musical.
Yeah,
It
for
was
you,
Rocky
Sweeney
Horror.
Todd was a horror musical.
Yeah.
So for you feel like, you know what? It didn't bother me because I kind of felt like, you know what? It's kind of a musical. So it's fair. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I accepted it.
Yeah, I gave it a 9, probably because all the symbolism. I'm huge into symbolism. That's probably one of my reason why Christopher Nolan is my favorite director. He has tons of symbolism in a lot of his films. And to your point, Mike, what I saw for the Native American people was that they're supposed to represent the spiritual aspect of it because they was hunting them. So that's how I saw it. And then of course it's 1932. You know, they still have their land per se at that time. So and I get what they were saying because they're kind of similar to Wakanda in that they're separatists. So you heard them say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go back home before it gets dark."
Right.
So I already knew
so you thought they went back to their land, like, okay, we got them off our land, we good to go.
Exactly. So that's
Okay.
it. But I do have, to your point, I had an issue with that part of the film because you see that Remy was burning and the sun was out. So how could he exist even more with the sun out if the sun burnt everybody up at the end? So that was my one issue with the film.
Well, Josh, I feel like they were saying that he was so old, so he was way stronger than them. So remember when he ran to the house in the beginning, he was burning, like he was smoking.
Right.
So they just saying like he was way stronger, way older. So I just look at it like that. Like he just wasn't. He would probably have to be like hung on a stake or something for him to die in the sun, you know, or be in there super long. So I mean, he did have fear on his face too. Like he was burning. Like he was like, oh, I gotta get up out of here, you know. So, you know. All right, Maker. What about you? If you gave it a score of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I think about an 8.5. I did feel like there were the certain elements that I thought were going to come back up. The whole deal in Chicago, I thought that was going to maybe come back up, like someone from there to show up at some point, and that just it kind of fell through to me. And then like I kind of agree with the India part. I wish there was maybe like if these were like I always wondered if those were like bounty hunters or not bounty hunters, but like vampire hunters specifically.
Yeah.
And that they were hunting them down. It would have been cool to see like maybe a group hunting the brother down at the end, right? Like maybe you see them like watching in the background, like trying to hunt them, and so like they're always running for their life type deal now that they're vampires. I thought that would be like, because I always feel like usually if there's some like backdraw to this for not doing good effectively in a lot of these movies. So
And what did you say your score would be?
about 8.5. I thought it was a really good, probably my favorite movie so far this year.
Okay, that's cool. Well, there's a lot more. I think I have concerns with Superman, but Superman looked like it's probably gonna be my favorite movie this year. It just looks like so much is going on. And the one movie I remember so much going on was Spider-Man 3. You know, you had the Sandman, you had the Hobgoblin, you had like it was so much going on in that trailer. But you know, that movie wasn't good for a lot of other reasons. But Superman looks so good, but I'm like, how are they gonna pull it off? Because I think he's only been Superman for 3 years, right? So I'm like, how are they gonna pull off this much stuff in the movie? Like it shows so many villains, so many other characters, his mom, his dad. I'm like, dude, this movie looked like it's gonna be jam-packed. So I'm curious, like, you know, I can't wait to talk to you about it, Mike. But,
yeah, we should really talk about that on one of our channels too, as well. What happens? My number one movie right now, it was Sinners, maybe, but it's F1 now. But
yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be my favorite because I actually do watch F1. I played a video game. I watched the series on Amazon. So I mean, on Netflix. So I definitely can't wait to see that.
That's what I want.
And 4DX. Watching that, gotta watch that in 4DX.
Yeah, you should. So we'll see if something passes it.
Think of what was my favorite movie this year. I'm gonna have.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about Superman because with Superman, he's always so OP, so it's kind of hard to find like people who can actually combat him. And then it seems kind of like he's so OP sometimes, so it's kind of unbelievable at times, like people can beat him. And then also, I don't think he's a big enough star, personally.
Oh, the guy playing Superman.
Yeah, to carry that cape, I'm not sure if he's big enough personally.
Yeah, I don't remember his name right now.
I don't even know it.
Get it. I know he was in Twisters last summer. He did a good job with Twisters, but
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, he had a role in there, side character, but I don't remember his name right.
Trying to look.
I'm mostly excited for it because James Gunn's directing it, you know, and like I really liked his past like several movies.
That's fair.
Yeah, like the Suicide Squad. I enjoyed that movie better than the original, and all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh, y'all talking about Superman?
The stuff I've heard from Nicholas Hoult though as Lex, I've enjoyed in the trailer so far. So I'm hoping that he does a good job as Lex.
Yeah, DC we're known for our villains, so I'm expecting a lot from Lex.
Yeah. And we haven't really got a good Lex on screen since like Gene Hackman. To be honest with you, like I didn't think the one from Man of Steel, BVS was that good.
I like Jesse as an actor, so I didn't mind.
I love Jesse. I do. I can't wait to see
Kevin Spacey.
the next Now You See Me this year. Now You See Me 3. I can't wait for that. So,
right.
But, yeah.
What was it? I don't think we'll have to wait too long for the Superman reviews. I think they're coming out tomorrow.
It comes out tomorrow's the first screening.
Wow.
So yeah, they'll be out tomorrow. I'll be there at 6:30.
I had a hard time trying to think of what my favorite movie was this year, but maybe
because there hasn't been a lot of great ones this year. That's why.
Yeah, I'm looking at. It's crazy. I moved to Florida. This is the least amount I went to the movies. Like I came here and I was like, we barely go. We're starting to rev up. Maybe I did like Final Destination.
That was good.
Yeah, but I also
I thought it was too ridiculous. I thought it was too ridiculous, like the other one. Like it doesn't hold up to the first two.
You kind of went into it. And it was Final Destination. I don't know, Mike. Maybe I kind of did like Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh my god! Okay. You like what you like, buddy.
Maybe because the Red Hulk, it was kind of like so much nods to my favorite Hulk movie. But
he's like only in the end of the movie.
Yeah, it might have to be Final Destination. That was probably like
that Ballerina was good too. I like that as well.
Was it?
But Ballerina, that was good too.
Yeah, we
watched some movies with subtitles.
We were traveling, so I gotta watch it on Amazon.
We were gonna see it and they took it out of our theater. It was like on already. We was like, what the heck?
Yeah. It didn't make that much money, but it's actually a good movie. But
yeah, they said the lady when we went to the counter because we was gonna see something else. They said in that 1 week they had only sold 20 tickets.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
In that 1 week. And then here's something we didn't know. We went to the movies on Tuesday. It was packed. We was like, oh snap! What is Tuesday? Must be they day here or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We went.
Yeah, I can't do movies with subtitles where I have to have the subtitles on. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
You didn't need subtitles for Ballerina. Oh, that looks good, bro.
Fresh off the grill.
Fresh off the grill.
I don't know if it was the pirated version, but the version that I saw, it was all in Chinese.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who's Robert Johnson? Werewolf King said any movie that referenced my man Robert Johnson is a good flick.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. I don't know if he was trolling. I don't know.
Hey, are they talking about Ryan Johnson? Robert
the director,
Johnson.
right? Ryan Johnson, yeah.
I know Ryan Johnson. I don't know Robert Johnson.
So, guys, let me go back to this thing. So, out of 15 votes, it says, do you judge a movie based on the movie or the director? It says 87% the movie, 13% the director. So, I'm going to close the polls.
I just looked it up. He was a blues musician.
Okay.
Oh, the guy who sold his soul.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. At the crossroads. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
All right, well, guys, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm gonna go because now it's making me hungry now. So
yeah, Sandy.
Yeah, and Chloe's about to finish dinner, so I can smell it. So I'm about to go grab.
Let's go, guys.
Right,
make sure to check out Mike. I'll have his link pinned, but here he is, One Mike Media. Definitely check him out.
Go sub up,
man. And Josh, man, thank you. This was fun. It was really cool. You know, maybe Josh, maybe you wanted me and Mike to try to kill each other, but we know better than that.
Oh no, I already know that you guys kill each other in the chat, but you guys are like Bambi and Lassie on the stream. It boggles my mind.
We never kill each other.
I know. We don't. But we was more stakes and daggers in the chat. we got it out of our system.
All right,
that's why I say save it for the stream, but okay.
Definitely. Hey, you gotta say it earlier, Josh. You waited like 3 days later, man. He was eating popcorn like hell.
Yeah, I was.
But I thank all you guys for coming in. FCAT, Big Mike, Josh, Maker Chaos. Man, I love movies, so but Mike, set it up, man. I'll definitely we gotta do the old guard. Like I said, let's do it.
I watched it last night too, so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I'll let you watch it first, but
okay.
It's an interesting ending. I'll tell you that, but we'll talk about it later on.
Okay, perfect.
All right, man.
Now, should I watch the old one again?
I watched. No, you don't have to watch the old one again. You don't have to.
Okay. All right.
It's up to you.
All right, cool.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
I saw.
All right, everybody.
I saw. Bring her back. Cowboy. That movie that the people who made don't touch me or whatever.
So I seen the little. I didn't see a trailer or anything for it, but I saw.
What's that movie? What's that movie where they touch that?
Okay, I have no clue what happened.
What's that movie called? What's that movie called where they touch their hand and they say,
Talk to me?
Yeah, talk to me. That it's the people who made that Bring Her Back.
Oh, maybe I have to check that out.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty good.
Okay, it was pretty good. Okay, I'll have to check it out. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I'm gonna eat my food before it gets cold. Thanks everybody for being in the chat. Thank you guys as usual. On the channel tomorrow will be the podcast, Keeping It Real with the Cowboy. We will be there. I know, man, FCAT got a lot to talk about. I got.
Oh my God.
So it's gonna be epic. And then on Wednesday, we Wrestle Wednesdays, and that's gonna be dope as well.
Just pre-warning, we're not gonna go over what studio was laid off or whatever. We're just gonna go over the games because I don't care about layoffs.
Sounds good.
They happen all the goddamn time, and people need to stop crying about it on Twitter.
It is normal, but I think they feel like it's systematic, like for what's going on. They feel like, wait, and those many people got laid off. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. With that being said, and now your mama knows. Oh, man. Write it down.
I'll make you famous. Because I'm a cowboy! Oh, man.
And now your mama knows.
Bruce, unleash the baby god dragon!
And now your mama knows.